Part 79. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 781. Chapter 781. You've really made a lot of progress. Okay, stop talking about Jianyins and go to the comic club. Xia Ying glanced at the time. It was almost time for the club's training gathering. Xia Ying took the sketch she had drawn for the third time and went out with Ye Xiaoxun. Hey, actually you have really made a lot of progress. Ye Xiaoxun looked at the drawing in Xia Ying's hand and said sincerely. At least the painting was much better than that of old man Ding before. The draft that he drew 3 times was also much better than the first draft that Ye Xiaoxun saw before. Of course people will make progress step by step. No one is born to do a certain thing. Xia Ying began to pour chicken soup. Ha, so Jianyins also sings like this. Ye Xiaoxun still couldn't understand Xia Ying's decision to sign Jianyins as a singer. In her opinion, how could Jianyins sing well with his broken voice? Why, you still don't believe that Jianyins is actually a good singer? Ye Xiaoxun shook her head without hesitation. Although she was Jianyins' fan, she was a beauty fan. In her opinion, it's really better to forget about Jianyins singing. You'll understand in a few days. Xia Ying sold a small pass. By the way, Xiaoxun, let's change our homework. Xia Ying suddenly said. Ye Xiaoxun was stunned for a moment, not understanding what Xia Ying's purpose was. Xia Ying then explained, didn't Han Xiu always judge my homework as the worst indiscriminately? Then let's change it and deliberately make her angry. If she punishes you for cleaning, I will do it for you. I just want everyone to know that that woman abused her power and is not worthy of being the president. Ye Xiaoxun blinked. These two people were really fighting. Han Xiu tried every means to embarrass Xia Ying, and Xia Ying tried every means to slap Han Xiu in the face. Tut tut tut, war between women. Good. Ye Xiaoxun then suggested, how about this? Anyway, Han Xiu comes last every time. We put away everyone's homework in advance, and when Han Xiu comes, let her judge the worst homework. Let's see how she can tell which one is the best. Is yours? Xia Ying's eyes lit up, and she reached out to tug Ye Xiaoxun's face with a smile. Ha, we great writers are so smart. Ye Xiaoxun smiled sweetly. When Xia Ying and Ye Xiaoxun arrived at the comic club, Tang Guo'er was already there starting to practice today's comic homework. Xia Ying's plan went smoothly and she collected everyone's homework. Put them together, and later Han Xiu will choose the best and the worst from this pile of new members' homework. The best new members do not have to do homework next time, but do more difficult homework with the old members. And the worst ones have to stay and clean. As soon as Han Xiu appeared, he and Xia Ying looked at each other as usual, and greeted each other's 18th generation ancestors with their eyes. Han Xiu's purpose is to force Xia Ying away, and out of sight is out of mind. Xia Ying's purpose was to block Han Xiu's eyes and keep her eyes on her so that she wouldn't have any more ideas about Yu Lingfeng. These two people each have their own plans. Han Xiu walked to the front and saw 2 piles of homework neatly arranged. One pile was the homework of the new members, and it was about drawing SpongeBob SquarePants. One stack is the homework of old members, which is about the underwater world. Han Xiu frowned and looked at the group of people below in confusion. Someone enthusiastically answered, because it would be a waste of time to accept and evaluate the assignments one by one, so Xia Ying suggested that we submit the assignments together and evaluate them together. Han Xiu's eyes darkened and he glanced in Xia Ying's direction. Xia Ying showed a proud smile. This is an extra update for the reward. There will be an extra update for monthly tickets over 140 today. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 782. Chapter 782. Could it be that someone else drew it for you? Of course she knew it was a waste of time, but she just targeted Xia Ying deliberately. Do you think you won't be caught cleaning this way? Which one of Xia Ying's assignments was not bad? She only had to find hers from the worst ones, and it wasn't that difficult. Han Xiu thought so, raised the corners of her lips, showed an evil smile, and responded to Xia Ying. Xia Ying casually watched Tang Guo draw, as if she was particularly confident in the evaluation of this assignment. She drew this assignment 3 times. In fact, she drew it several times for every assignment. She knows that her starting point is lower than others, but she believes that hard work can make up for weakness. She does the homework 3 times when others do it once. She practices more than others. Over time, her painting level will naturally improve. Han Xiu carefully selected several paintings, frowning and thinking carefully about which painting was most like Xia Ying's. This. After thinking for a long time, Han Xiu took out a painting and everyone looked at her. Han Xiu subconsciously looked in Xia Ying's direction, wanting to see Xia Ying's reaction. Look at the work in her hand to see if it was written by Xia Ying. Xia Ying naturally knew what Han Xiu had in mind, so when Han Xiu's eyes fell on her, Xia Ying pretended to be panicked, frowned, and bit her lower lip tightly, looking annoyed. Han Xiu was overjoyed, thinking that even if Xia Ying was being clever, she still couldn't escape her grasp. Moreover, her paintings were as bad as ever. Even if she didn't mean to target her, her level was still the worst. This is the worst work today. Han Xiu smiled rather proudly. After glancing at Xia Ying, he picked up another work and said, "This is the best work today." Huh, Tang Guo pouted, her face full of dejection, "I have to clean today." Han Xiu's smile didn't stay on her face for long before she was forced back by Tang Guo's words, and she looked at Xia Ying at a loss. Xia Ying stood up with a chuckle and looked at the old members next to her politely, "Then I can do the homework next time with the seniors." "Wow, it turns out that was drawn by you, Xia Ying. You've made great progress, keep working hard. I really can't tell. I've been waiting for you for 3 days with admiration." Various voices of praise surrounded Xia Ying, and Han Xiu was almost going crazy, but he still maintained his weak demeanor on the surface. She actually made Xia Ying shine. "What's going on? Xia Ying, are you sure this painting is yours?" Han Xiu held the painting, his expression full of doubts, and stared at Xia Ying. Xia Ying nodded and said jokingly, "Yes, what's wrong? President, are you going to praise me too?" Han Xiu sneered, darkened his eyes, and said disdainfully, "You have made such great progress all of a sudden? Did you ask someone else to draw it for you?" Xia Ying rolled her eyes, "I knew you would say that." After Xia Ying finished speaking, she took the skull bag next to her and rummaged around for a while, then took out a pile of crumpled drawing paper and placed it on the table. "This is the draft of every assignment I have done before. I will draw it seriously for every assignment. Even if I know that the result will be the worst every time, I will still draw it a few more times." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 783. Chapter 783. Let's change the president. I said, "President Han, we put you in this position to recognize your ability, not to let you do whatever you want in this position. I know my starting point is low, but I have been working hard. You can say that I am the worst at homework. However, you have no right to question the authenticity of my homework." Xia Ying vividly displayed her victim attitude, making everyone around her nod in agreement and empathize. These days, Han Xiu is targeting Xia Ying overtly and covertly, and the members of the club see it. Now that Xia Ying had won the best assignment with her own efforts, Han Xiu doubted the authenticity of her assignment for no reason, which really made the members favor her. Originally, Han Xiu was just a freshman. There were many seniors in the club. They made her the president because she was good at painting. However, she made the club become more and more chaotic, playing tricks like little girls every day. As time went by, it became really hard to win people's hearts. I don't know your level yet. I dare say this assignment was definitely not drawn by you. Han Xiu said angrily, don't you deny it. Do you think you can get away with those retarded drawings by saying that you have worked hard? Oh, so you're trying to get into trouble with me on purpose. Xia Ying sneered. At this time, everyone who had been silent could no longer sit still. Han Xiu, you are going too far. Every time Xia Ying's homework is not that bad, you always give people the worst rating and let them clean the house. She has never complained. This time she finally worked hard to get the best grade. Excellent work. It's really shameful for you to say such things. It's just that Xia Ying has been suppressed by you without saying anything. You should have a certain temper when you bully others. Well, I told Han Xiu that a freshman could not be the president. What did you say before? Look now, I was right. Change to the president, really, what kind of person is this? Xia Ying listened to the discussions around her, and the voices became louder and louder. Gradually, everyone began to feel sorry for Xia Ying. Especially when I saw so many of Xia Ying's ruined manuscripts, I thought about how Xia Ying usually works so painting, but she was still suppressed by Han Xiu, and it even escalated to the level of insulting her character. Everyone was talking to each other, and the more they talked, the more lively it became. Han Xiu's face turned dark, and she stared at Xia Ying angrily and angrily. She did this on purpose, and then pretended to be a good student who was being bullied by her, so that everyone pointed their guns at her. Xia Ying is planning to take her down. Damn it, this woman is really scheming. Everyone, please stop saying a few words. Xia Ying stopped everyone at the right time when the quarrel was at its most intense. Then she looked at Han Xiu, deliberately throwing the topic to Han Xiu when she was the most angry and flustered. So President Han, how do you say? Han Xiu took a deep breath and adjusted her facial expression. Did Xia Ying think she was so easy to defeat? She can act, doesn't she know how to act? What's wrong? Your drawings were poor before. It's obvious to everyone. You, who have always been rated as the worst homework, suddenly did the best homework? I just questioned it reasonably. You encouraged everyone to do it to me. What does moral kidnapping mean? Han Xiu said coldly, don't think that I don't know what you have in mind. Also, writing. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 784. Chapter 784. Han Xiu, this woman finally stepped down. In what way did you hear me encouraging everyone? I obviously told the truth, but you still wanted to beat me up when you were wrong. Xia Ying said angrily. Ye Xiaoxun spoke up and said, well, who doesn't know that you, Han Xiu, have been at odds with Xia Ying since it was revealed last time that you coveted her boyfriend? Calling to catch the thief? I am the woman with a bad heart, so what dignity and qualifications do I have to question Xia Ying? Ye Xiaoxun mentioned what happened last time and reminded everyone of Han Xiu's other crime. All the members couldn't sit still. What kind of character is the president of the comics club taking jujube pills? Don't tell me, last time I saw Han Xiu secretly drawing Xia Ying's boyfriend, wasn't he still coveting her boyfriend and then deliberately targeting her? I think Senior Lily's painting skills are also very high. Why should an elementary school girl with such a personality be the president? Get off the stage, it's really speechless and disgusting. Han Xi's words made her whole body tremble. She glared at Xia Ying with red eyes and ran away. In the end, the members of the comic club collectively voted Han Xiu out. Her position as president was gone, and Junior Li Lila took over as president of the comic club. After the training time, Tang Guo stayed to clean the club, and Xia Ying and Ye Xiaoxun also stayed to help her. Xia Ying, Xia Ying, the painting you painted today is really good, you have made great progress. Tang Guo couldn't help but admire and looked at Xia Ying with envy. Xia Ying and Ye Xiaoxun looked at each other and smiled. Tang Guo was confused, scratched the back of his head, and asked in confusion, "Why are you laughing?" Xia Ying stretched out her hand and tugged Tang Guo's soft face. "Little Candy, were you also deceived by us?" "Huh, cheated, what do you mean?" Tang Guo was even more confused, staring at Xia Ying and Ye Xiaoxun with a pair of grape-like eyes. "How could I really progress so fast? That painting is actually Xiaoxun's." Ye Xiaoxun nodded aside. Ye Xiaoxun has been rated as the best homework several times before. Unlike Xia Ying and Tang Guo, she has some foundation. When she went out today, Xia Ying fell in love with Ye Xiaoxun's paintings. She felt that she was very good at painting, and she would most likely get the best homework. So I came up with this method on the way. In addition, during this period of time, Tang Guo has not focused much on painting, and has been focusing on studying and improving every day. So Xia Ying had already guessed that she might have the worst homework. Everything is actually under Xia Ying's control. Ha! Tang Guo was stunned for a long time, and then said, that means, in fact, Han Xiu is right, Xia Ying, you were really painted by someone else. Xia Ying raised her forehead helplessly and patted Tang Guo's head. "Forget it, simple little Candy, you probably don't understand why we do this." Ye Xiaoxun laughed happily at the side. "Fortunately I didn't tell you in advance." Tang Guo pouted, "Well, although I haven't figured it out yet, the best result is that bad woman Han Xiu has stepped down. See if she still shows off her power by relying on herself as the president." "You are finally right," Xia Ying said happily. Tang Guo grew up carefree and was well protected by her family. She never understood the intrigues between girls. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 785. Chapter 785, When did you become so jealous? However, this is quite good. Tang Guo's world is simple and beautiful, and she doesn't have so many unnecessary troubles to face. Xia Ying sometimes envies people like Tang Guo who live a simple and comfortable life. After returning home from vacation, Xia Ying told Yu Lingfeng about Han Xiu. Since Han Xiu ceased to be the president, her popularity in the comic club has become worse and worse, especially when she was found out from a collection of paintings, in which she drew Yu Lingfeng. She was truly a late-stage nymphomaniac. Not only that, she also drew herself and Yu Lingfeng together, and vilified and cursed Xia Ying in various ways in the drawing book. After this incident came out, Han Xiu was kicked out of the comic club as a matter of course. The reason is that the comic book club does not need such dark-hearted people. Yu Lingfeng listened to Xia Ying's indignant explanation, but silently peeled grapes for Xia Ying, then handed them to Xia Ying's mouth, and looked at her with a faint smile from time to time. "Hey, Yu Lingfeng, why didn't you respond at all?" Xia Ying tilted her head and looked at Yu Lingfeng. Why is Yu Lingfeng still smiling so weirdly? Xia Ying suppressed the expression on her face, and after eating the last grape handed over by Yu Lingfeng, she asked him while eating, "Why are you laughing? Actually, you can ignore such people." Yu Lingfeng slowly took out a tissue and wiped his hands with a dignified and elegant posture like that of a noble prince. "Huh? Is this what you said? Then you'd better stop talking." Xia Ying looked aside angrily and ignored Yu Lingfeng, looking angry. What the hell? Is Yu Lingfeng insinuating that he is boring and nosy? Yu Lingfeng squinted at Xia Ying's profile, then peeled a grape and ate it, muttering to himself, "Today's grapes seem to be extra sour." 11 Ju, who had a very low presence on the side and had been silent all this time, raised his head and looked at his master who was smiling like a spring breeze. There was unconcealable pride and smugness in his eyes. "Hold on. When did the master unlock the new expression? Please stop laughing, okay? Isn't it a bit too provocative? Xia Ying was startled after hearing this. After thinking about it for a while, a few circles of blush appeared on her face. Yu Lingfeng was hinting that she was jealous. Where is she? Well, she is just jealous. She just couldn't bear to see the other girls staring at Yu Lingfeng eagerly, especially the kind who tried to strike up a conversation and press their whole body against Yu Lingfeng's body, which was the most annoying. Oh my god, Xia Ying suddenly opened her eyes wide and held her face in shock. When did she start to become so jealous? Well, she seems to have always been jealous. Yu Lingfeng glanced at Xia Ying. Xia Ying had a tangled look on her face, mixed with a little embarrassment, and never turned around to look at him. Ahem. Yu Lingfeng coughed twice, and 11 Ju understood and left holding the grapes in front of him. Yu Lingfeng approached Xia Ying and whispered, "So, do you know how I felt back then?" Xia Ying was startled after hearing this, then turned around to face Yu Lingfeng's handsome face so close to her. "What do you mean?" "Before, someone seemed to be much more powerful than Han Shishi. To the outside, he was your fiancé. He usually got along with you day and night. Behind the scenes, he often came over to challenge me and ask me to let go of you." Yu Lingfeng he supported his head with his hands and looked at Xia Ying, who was already panicking, with a smile in his eyes, and then said, "Think about it this way, you are not losing at all." End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 786. Chapter 786. Jianyans and 11 Ju often go out to play. Xia Ying's face turned darker and darker after hearing this. She still couldn't tell Yu Lingfeng. All right. Xia Ying curled her lips. There's more. Yu Lingfeng continued. Before that, June Chennai, I was pestering you in the school. After the winter and summer vacations, you had to fly to find Stefan. You and Stefan practiced music. When I was there was no time to see me at all. Yu Lingfeng became more and more sad as he spoke. Why did Xia Ying feel that he had finally found a chance to let go of all the anger he had been holding in? Xia Ying stretched out her hand and covered Yu Lingfeng's mouth. She flattened her mouth and said aggrievedly, "Okay, Yu Lingfeng, I was wrong." Yu Lingfeng chuckled, took Xia Ying's hand, put it to his mouth and kissed it, then said, "So, how are you going to make up for it?" Xia Ying frowned. "Ah. Do you still want to make up for it? Wouldn't it look particularly insincere if we don't make amends?" Xia Ying blinked and thought for a while. "Then how do you want me to make up for it? Are you willing to punish me?" As Xia Ying spoke, she squeezed out 2 false tears, which swayed in her eyes and refused to flow down. She stared at Yu Lingfeng with a look of pity. Yu Lingfeng had never seen Xia Ying like this. However, he was just teasing her, so why was she crying? Yu Lingfeng raised his hand to wipe away the tears from the corners of Xia Ying's eyes, and said softly, "Why are you crying? If Chu Sensio saw this, he would think I bullied you. Then I don't have to make up for it?" Xia Ying asked tentatively. "Well, whatever you want is fine." "Ha, that's good." Xia Ying's face changed in a second, and Yu Lingfeng was startled. Miscalculation, she actually forgot her identity as an actress in her previous life. She was tricked. "Yu Lingfeng, Jianyans is going to shoot a MV this afternoon, please come with me and take a look." Xia Ying suddenly said. Yu Lingfeng nodded gloomily. He still hadn't recovered from the previous topic. Jianyin's songs have been recorded. After the MV is shot, they can be released together and officially announce their debut. Jianyin's MV team Xia Ying also hired the best, including Qianyin's stylist, who used to be Jun Chennai's royal team. The heroine of the MV is a famous supermodel from country Chu invited her here because of her connections. As soon as Qianyin's debuted, he was given top-notch resources, which shows how high Xia Ying's expectations are for him. Can I go together? Xia Ying raised her head, and Zihu suddenly poked his head out from the doorframe, staring at Xia Ying with his bright eyes. Yu Lingfeng frowned. Wasn't 11 Ju gone? Why did it suddenly come out again? Could it be that he had been eavesdropping? Yu Lingfeng suddenly felt itchy in his fist. I really like Qianyin's, please, please. Zihu ran to Xia Ying, pleading with his big eyes twinkling. Okay, then remember not to cause trouble. I will definitely not cause trouble. After receiving the permission, 11 Ju jumped 3 feet high with joy, and then jumped away again. 11 Ju seems to have a good relationship with Qianyin's. Yu Lingfeng mentioned it intentionally or unintentionally. It's pretty. Xia Ying answered with a smile, then picked up the glass of water on hand and prepared to put it into her mouth. No, you just didn't know it in school. 11 Ju and Qianyin's often hang out together. Xia Ying choked and looked at Yu Lingfeng in horror. Xia Ying, who had read too many Denmei comics, instinctively thought wrongly, and then repeatedly chewed the word like in 11 Ju's mouth just now. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 787. Chapter 787, What should I do if my girlfriend is too rotten? I'm waiting online in a hurry. Yu Lingfeng saw that Xia Ying's thoughts had wandered light years away. Looking at her weird smile, Yu Lingfeng probably knew what she was thinking about. Yu Lingfeng coughed twice in embarrassment, and then said, Qianyin's also likes to read Denmei comics. 11 Ju has been in contact with him a lot recently and seems to have been led by him again. Although I didn't catch him, but 11 Ju has been acting strangely recently. Wow, are Qianyin's and Zihu going to develop? Are you listening to me? Who will attack Qianyin's Zi or 11 Ju and who will receive it? Don't make up your mind, I'm just guessing about this. Qianyin's and 11 Ju don't seem to have the potential to attack. Forget it, I personally feel that Qianyin seems to be a little more offensive. It's enough. Yu Lingfeng reached out and flicked Xia Ying's forehead twice before pulling Xia Ying back. Xia Ying was stunned and looked at the helpless Yu Lingfeng in front of her, whose face had turned black to charcoal. What should I do if my girlfriend is too rotten? It's very urgent to wait online hashtag. Huh, what did you just say to me? After Xia Ying came to her senses, she looked at Yu Lingfeng and asked obediently. Although Xia Ying didn't say anything, Yu Lingfeng had already gotten a glimpse of what she was thinking about all day long from her expression just now. No matter what, Zihu is a robot. Yu Lingfeng first pointed out the important point and became serious. No matter whether 11 Ju likes a man or a woman, it is impossible for him and humans. Xia Ying's face immediately darkened, but isn't Zihu a super-simulated robot? If Yu Lingfeng hadn't said it, Xia Ying would have forgotten that 11 Ju, a person of flesh and blood, was actually just a robot. No matter how much you simulate it, you can't change the essence. But, that. Xia Ying suddenly faltered, with an ambiguous red circle on her face, I think that is still okay, right? Which one can? Yu Lingfeng frowned and looked at Xia Ying, whose expression became increasingly strange. Finally, after Yu Lingfeng thought clearly, his face turned completely dark. He began to suspect that Xia Ying had created 11 Ju. What are you thinking about? Yu Lingfeng held his forehead helplessly and continued, 11 Ju is a robot. Unless the energy is exhausted, he is immortal. Qianyin's is a normal human being who will grow old, sick, and die. Between them how can we be together? But if they really love each other, do you want to break them up too? Xia Ying curled her lips and said in a low voice. She began to worry about the two of them in her heart, Even though all this was just speculation by Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng, they might just be good friends. Yu Lingfeng was silent for a long time and then said, "I don't know. Yu Lingfeng, don't do this." Xia Ying had already begun to imagine that 11 Zhu and Qianyins loved each other deeply, and then Yu Lingfeng turned into a demon wearing a black cloak, with a pair of black wings and pointed fangs, and forcefully inserted himself between the two of them. Don't let them be together in that kind of scene. I will try my best to improve 11 Zhu so that he is not so different from human beings. Yu Lingfeng suddenly became a little sad. In any case, 11 Zhu cannot stay with me forever, he is thoughtful. He will also need someone to accompany him in the rest of his life. I don't want him to end up alone in love. 11 Zhu, who was hiding behind the doorframe, was already crying. Today, if your monthly ticket is over 150, we will get more updates. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 788. Chapter 788 Shooting the MV. When Xia Ying and the others arrived at the place where Qianyins was filming the MV, Qianyins was already putting on makeup in the dressing room. The songs that Qianyins recorded last time have also been released, and Xia Ying can't wait to take them over to share with Yu Lingfeng and the others. Therefore, Yu Lingfeng, 11 Zhu, and Chu Shenxiu, who came with Xia Ying to watch Qianyins shoot the MV, were forced to wear high-quality headphones and listen to Qianyin's new song over and over again. This is the third time, please tell me how you feel. Xia Ying blinked her eyes as bright as stars and stared at the three of them. Sounds nice. It sounds good. Super nice. Xia Ying. Xia Ying rolled her eyes. Why are these words again? Can you give me a little evaluation, such as how it makes you feel, whether this song can make you want to download it, etc. Cousin Sakura, you are just too nervous. Chu Shenxiu stood up, put his hand on Xia Ying's shoulder and comforted. Qianyin's tone is currently relatively vacant in the music market. I can't guarantee whether it will be liked by everyone, but this song, it really sounds good, and it makes people want to download it. Yu Lingfeng and 11 Zhu nodded in agreement behind them. When Xia Ying heard what they said, she immediately became happy. Ha, that's great. I feel relieved when you say that. Qianyin stunned everyone as soon as she put on makeup. Qianyin's is of mixed race, so his skin color is several times paler than that of ordinary people, and his soft and shiny silver hair is very dazzling under the light. The skin is so fair that you can barely see the pores, the facial features are so exquisite that it is breathtaking, especially the pair of deep star eyes, which makes people fall deeply in love with her just by looking at her. Qianyin's is really as beautiful as an elf. With such an appearance, even Xia Ying, who has seen many handsome men, can't help but open her eyes in surprise. No wonder that even without debuting, he still has countless fans of weirdos with his outstanding appearance. With such an appearance, even if he really knows nothing, he is still fascinating. During the filming of the MV, Xia Ying sat and watched the whole process. Qianyin's acting skills are not good. There are some performance scenes in the MV. Qianyin's performance is inexplicable and a bit awkward. Qianyin's and her supermodel partner have not been cooperating very well. They were clearly set up to be lovers, but they acted like strangers. Qianyin seemed to be a little shy or something, and he never let go. He was afraid of his hands the whole time. Afraid of feet. Qianyin's, what's going on? Make your expression more natural, move wider, imagine this is your girlfriend, don't be too shy. The director has been directing Qianyin's. Put your hands up a little more. Look a little blurry. The movements are too stiff, the expression, pay attention to the expression. Xia Ying held her forehead helplessly, looking on from the side, looking really embarrassed. After several twists and turns, I finally finished shooting part of it, and will continue shooting in the next few days. Because of Qianyin's acting problems, The progress was delayed for several days. Qianyins himself was not very happy. After taking the photo, he sat on the chair with a dark face and an unhappy look on his face. Xia Ying walked towards him. "What's wrong with you? Why are you not in any good condition today?" Qianyins pursed her lips and looked up at Xia Ying. Xia Ying could clearly see a little helplessness and confusion in his eyes. "It's nothing, I'll try my best to adjust." Qianyins spoke in a low voice. After speaking, he lowered his head and said no more. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 789. Chapter 789. Do you really not like Qianyins? Xia Ying saw Qianyins like this and didn't ask further. Maybe it was a personal matter and it was not convenient for her to ask. On the way back, Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng talked about this matter. Have you noticed that Qianyins is particularly out of shape today? Although his acting skills are indeed not very good, it is obvious that he has something on his mind today and has not been able to concentrate. I went backstage to ask him, but he had nothing to say. Explain. When Zihu heard Xia Ying's words, he lowered his eyes silently and said nothing. Instead, he lowered his head and looked out the window without saying a word. Is a bit. Chu Shenxiu nodded in agreement. Yu Lingfeng did not answer, but fixed his gaze on 11 Ju. Yu Lingfeng saw all the subtle changes in 11 Ju's expression. Qianyins was not in good condition today, and so was 11 Ju. It was not difficult for Yu Lingfeng to figure out the reason. After arriving home, Yu Lingfeng stopped 11 Ju. 11 Ju was stunned and probably knew something from Yu Lingfeng's expression. He had never been able to hide anything from Yu Lingfeng, so Yu Lingfeng did it all without asking a few questions. Yu Lingfeng's previous guess was correct. Qianyins was indeed gay. Qianyins confessed his love to 11 Ju a few days ago, but 11 Ju rejected him. So Qianyins has been in a low mood these past few days and can't come out. 11 Ju actually also likes Qianyins, and he was deeply impressed from the first meeting. He likes comics and figurines, and so does 11 Ju. After slowly getting to know 11 Ju, he found that the two of them had a lot in common, but even so, 11 Ju still couldn't accept Qianyins' feelings. As Yu Lingfeng said, Qianyins is a human and he is a robot. There is no way for them to interact. But 11 Ju did not tell Yu Lingfeng in such detail. He just mentioned that Qianyins liked him and he rejected it. He didn't want to embarrass Yu Lingfeng, even though Yu Lingfeng had said that he would try his best to transform 11 Ju to make him more similar to human beings. It would be best if he could also experience birth, old age, illness, and death like humans. But 11 Ju knew that this was almost impossible. His essence was just a bunch of machines, and it was impossible to compare with flesh and blood humans. Don't you like him? Yu Lingfeng raised his eyebrows. Why did he think 11 Ju and Qianyins were quite happy together? The two of them often went out together some time ago, and there was no time when 11 Ju came back that he wasn't in high spirits. Zihu shook his head. Yu Lingfeng narrowed his eyes slightly and stared at 11 Ju with a burning gaze. Why doesn't he believe it so much? Zihu, although I didn't allow you to read Denmei comics before, I still hope you know that if you really like Qianyins, I support you. Yu Lingfeng did not have the concept of in his previous worldview, so he could not accept that 11 Ju liked to read Denmei comics. But Yu Lingfeng gradually came into contact with Xia Ying for a long time, and was instilled in this concept by Xia Ying. Moreover, no matter what, he made 11 Ju, just like his own son, and he would not impose his own ideas on 11 Ju. He could do whatever he wanted, as long as he was happy. Zihu was a little touched when he heard what Yu Lingfeng said, but he still endured his emotions, gritted his teeth and nodded. I don't like it. Yu Lingfeng frowned. Although he understood everything in his heart, he still said nothing. Oh well. Yu Lingfeng left, and 11 Ju was stunned in place, silent. Also, writing. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 790. Chapter 790. The Strongest Newcomer. Qianyin's. Qianyin's MV and song were first released in the early morning. 10 minutes later, the hot search list on Weibo exploded. Most searched, lyrics written by Jun Chennai. Second hot search, Qianyin's debut. Third most searched, Xiaoying composition. Fourth hot search, the strongest newcomer Qianyin's. Fifth hot search, I am not a Chuyunibu. Looking over carefully, Qianyin's song dominated the charts. Half an hour later, Weibo was down due to heavy traffic. After the system was restored, it crashed again. Master Jun's little heart, oh my god. Mr. Jun. My young master. I'm about to cry, the lyrics written by Mr. Jun. Does this mean that our young master Jun is coming back? Has Mr. Jun returned to the entertainment industry today? Woohoo, all the girls in the dormitory building were woken up by the explosion today. They were all shouting Jun Chennai. When will you come back, Mr. Jun? Always waiting for you to come back. Summer cherry blossoms, ah. So is it because our Sakura doesn't release new songs because she is focusing on Qianyin's? The new song is really awesome. Official fan of Narrow Couple, I seem to smell the fragrance of sugar. Is this a benefit for fans of Narrow Couple? Qianyin's is my husband, am I the only one who has focused my attention on the right thing? My husband sings super well, isn't it? This little smoky voice is so sexy, it makes my legs weak. Score is really amazing. It is composed by Xiaoying and written by Jun Chennai. If it doesn't become popular tomorrow, go to several other countries and I will live stream Qi Xiang. There is no doubt that the strongest newcomer Qianyin's, who has such treatment, oh my god. In the middle of the night, Xiaoying was happily scrolling through Weibo on her mobile phone, looking at the comments from netizens and the comments made by some musicians about the song. Most of the reviews are positive, and there are also a few keyboard warriors and pink eyes who complain about Qianyin's singing voice. It is because of the two names Xiaoying and Jun Chennai that he became popular, and they said that what kind of strength does it take to take jujube pills or something like that? But no matter what, at noon the next day, in just 12 hours, the number of downloads and plays of the song had already broken the record for a new song. The results are enough to show that the song is successful, and Qianyin's Weibo fans have increased by more than 3 million because of this song, and they are still growing. Not only the song, but also the number of downloads and views of the MV has broken records. Everyone in the comment area is saying Qianyin's beautiful face, and everyone is licking Qianyin's appearance and unique voice. Xiaoying lay on the sofa happily. During this period, she had been worried about Qianyin's debut, but she finally achieved a good result. Qianyin's looked at the number of Weibo fans that he had increased overnight, and almost bit off his tongue in fright. Qianyin's agent and assistant were already crazy with joy. Qianyin swallowed and tremblingly called Xiaoying. Am I on fire? Nonsense, I told you that you would definitely be popular. Qianyin's was overjoyed. Being popular meant that he could make a lot of money, pay off his family's debts, and also be able to do those things that he liked but were restricted due to financial conditions. Although it is popular, basic exercises still need to be done every day. It is estimated that many brands will ask you to endorse you soon, and many variety shows will invite you. Your agent will arrange these for you. Just remember to listen to them. Also, do not broadcast live without their permission. Xiaoying kept telling Qianyin's a lot. Qianyin's was in a good mood and answered them all one by one. End of this chapter.